Welcome to another amazing episode of Raising Private Money. I'm Jay Conner, the Private Money Authority, also the host of the show. And this is the podcast where we talk about how to raise private money for your real estate deals without ever having to ask for money. Well, guess what? I've got a very, very special guest today. After reading my book and tuning into this podcast, he's raised so far $7.4 million in private money for his real estate deals. Well, he's been in real estate investing. His experience spans over 15 years now. And his journey begins from being a fourth grade teacher all the way to becoming a very, very successful real estate investing entrepreneur. He's got a proven track record of over 500 successful real estate transactions. And in addition to being an expert in raising private money and serving his private lenders and getting his private lenders very, very high rates of return safely and securely, he's also an expert in off-market property acquisition, how to find those motivated sellers that are not in the multiple listing service. And so because of that, he actually developed a proprietary deal finding systems on how to find these deals. We're going to unpack all that in just a moment. You're going to meet my very special guest, Dan Cantiana, right after this.
If you're a real estate investor and are wondering how to raise and leverage private money to make more profit on every deal, then you're in the right place. On Raising Private Money, we'll speak with new and seasoned investors to dissect their deals and extract the best tips and strategies to help you get the money, because the money comes first. Now here's your host, Jay Conner.
Welcome to the show, Dan. It's great to have you back.
Yes, I really appreciate you inviting me back. First time's great, second time's better, right? So thank you.
Absolutely. So you've raised over 7 million in private money. And so tell everybody in your own words, how did your journey of raising private money start?
Yeah, thank you. And once again, that amount of the 500, my real estate partner and I, we've been partners now for a bit, and we flip around 50 to 60 houses a year. And so the journey really began with Beauty Bark. It's kind of Beauty Bark's fault. We were doing some house chores here, and my wife had some Beauty Bark delivered, and it was my turn to kind of go to work for it. And I thought, well, hey, I'm going to make this an educational experience. And so I went to Apple Podcasts. I searched private money. Your show came up. And so for 4 hours, you and I became best friends, which was great. I heard about your book, so I bought it. I read it twice because sometimes I miss things. And I thought, man, I can do this. And so I just really just followed the book, let people know that we're interested in real estate, and, we're interested in what I was doing, and was able to get them double-digit returns tied to real estate. And from there, I've just found out that I just really love helping people. I love helping people generate wealth. I love making the community better by fixing these homes. And so it's just been this win-win scenario. And over the last year and a half, man, if you would have told me when I was, dumping Beauty Bark that I would be at 7.4 million in a year and a half, I would have said, okay. But now I believe it because it's here.
I love it, Dan. Well, since you're talking about my book and giving this podcast and my book credit for getting you started in raising private money, I guess we should offer my book to the audience since we're talking
Yeah.
about it. The name of the book is Where to Get the Money Now. Subtitle, How and Where to Get Money for All Your Real Estate Deals Without Relying on Traditional or Hard Money Lenders. And this is a real book. This is not an ebook. I'll autograph it. I'll send it in the mail to any of you that are listening here to the show. The book is free, just covers shipping. You can spend $20 on Amazon, but don't do that. So you can pick up my book at www.jayconner.com/book. That's jayconner, jayconner.com/book. And get the book, and you'll be on your way, perhaps like Dan got his start by listening to this podcast and getting the book as well. Dan, thank you for sharing that story about, how just applying these principles, you're able to attract without ever selling, begging, chasing, etc., without having to ask for money. Thank you for sharing that. So I got a question for you, Dan.
Yeah.
You can answer this question as quick as you like, be as short as you like, or as long as you like. And here's the question: tell my audience, who is Dan Cantayana?
Well, yeah, I am the son of two immigrants. Both of my parents immigrated to the United States. My mom came from UK back in 1958. My biological father, he immigrated from Santiago, Chile in 1973. My mom had me when she was 18 years old in 1975. So I just told you how old I am. And my biological father left when I was 4 months old. And so I grew up, my mom and I, we grew up in tough times. Section 8 housing, food stamps. My mom's a very hard worker. She was not on that program for very long. She got, a community college degree. She was able to get in some data processing and computers, which really blessed us. And so my whole life, I've been blessed with amazing, amazing mentors and coaches and teachers. And so growing up, my mom had to work really hard. And so I was kind of a little bit of a wild one. And thankfully, because of my mom and the teachers and the coaches, I was able to graduate high school, get my 4-year degree, to get a master's degree. And, I got a degree in teaching and I loved it. I loved teaching. I met my wife at church and our debt to income wasn't very good. It took me a little while to graduate college and she went to a private college, so that was a little expensive. And so a mentor of mine had really encouraged me to get into sales. And I was a fourth grade teacher, and I was like, "Do you think I'd be good at it?" And he kind of laughed at me and said, "Yeah, I think you'd be okay." So I helped start a direct mail marketing company, and that went really well. And I really learned sales techniques. I really learned how to generate referrals. And then from there, I kind of did loans for a bit. I was a loan officer, and then I was like, "Well, what's a profession where I could sell something and get residual income?" And so I entered into the insurance industry, really enjoyed that. So I've been in the financial slash insurance industry for over 20 years. And so with that, it gave me some margin to be able to start investing in real estate into hard assets. And that's what I really enjoy is I love residual income. I love real estate and I love hard assets. As we know, housing is a non-discretionary item. And so people want to buy houses. And so, and long and the short of it is, I really love selling. I love the Lord more, and I love my wife, and I love my kids. What's really great about this business is that it allows me the freedom to be a husband, to be a father, and also allows me the great opportunity of having some fantastic employees, and we have a number of them, and I'm very thankful for all of their hard work. And that's kind of me in a nutshell.
I love it, Dan. Well, you and I have got something else in common that we haven't talked about, and that is both of us met our wives at church.
It's
I
a great
moved out
place.
that's right, better than meeting them at a bar, right? So I moved out to Wichita Falls, Texas, when I was 24 years old, and my very first Sunday in town was at church, and I met Carol Joy there that Sunday, and so we've been dating ever since.
Good for you.
We've been dating for 41 years. We just happen to be married 39 years of our dating career. So anyway, now I didn't mention it in the introduction, and we're going to dive into private money, private lending, and how you raise private money and all that kind of stuff here in a second. But you also have a master's degree in Christian leadership. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's a really unique scenario. We were a part of a young church in Tacoma, Washington, and my mentor Brian had a real heart for a lot of us to be grounded in the Word and grounded into what we would say is sound theology. So me and like 20 of my closest friends, it seemed like we went to a seminary there in Tacoma at the time called Faith Seminary. And so it was amazing. It was really hard. I was also a rugby coach at the time at the University of Puget Sound, and we had just had twins, and so that whole 2 years was a little crazy. But 20 of us went to this seminary called Faith Seminary, and the beauty of education is you're always learning. And so I learned a lot I will say that I did have some questions even after seminary, and I still do, just like we're all on a journey. But I really enjoyed the principals. The professors were just fantastic. And it was such a great experience to be with your fellow brothers in the congregation that you share church with, and then going 2 years at faith together. So, and it's, principles that I try to implement every day and model. And, I'm a sinner, I fall short, of course. But believe me, I do wake up and I do want to honor the Lord to the best of my ability. And it's been a fantastic, I guess, motivator knowing that I could start and finish a master's program. It was very hard for me. I'm not the most academic person in the whole wide world. I love to read. So it was a big, big blessing, and it's something I'm very proud of.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, let's dig into private money. So, you've been, investing in real estate, been in the space for a number of years. What was it that came along that was a pivotal moment or point that triggered you to go on Apple Podcasts and search for a podcast on private money? What was going on in your business that you realized, I need to start utilizing private money?
The simple answer is people. I just really enjoy serving people, and I enjoy having something to offer people. And I knew that if I could find what I call the vehicle, so I call real estate off market buying at a discount. That's the vehicle. I knew that if I could find these off market properties, that I'd be able to find and educate people that might want to invest in them. I'm a high communicator, I'm a networker by nature. I have these fun little things that I send my friends called Dan Can. That's my personal brand. You might see the neon sign behind me. Dan Can uh, musings, and they're just things that I find interesting about life, and I share them with people. I love to share the stories of these properties because each one of them has a story. Finding these properties, each one has a story, and so the actual moment where I thought private money was, man, if I could help people that I know make double digit returns, that would seems like a lot of fun. And it is. And so your book, the podcast, the coaching that you provide, these live events that you provide, man, if you're thinking, man, can I do this? You absolutely can do this. The biggest thing is to have a mentor and a coach. I allow books to coach me and mentor me, and Jay's book was just fantastic to do that. So for me, for me then and currently now, it's about helping people, and it's about helping people gain wealth. But I also want them to be about my story. I want them to enjoy the availability of making double digit returns, but also improving the community in which these houses are found. And so that's kind of what the inspiration was, is I love people and I love talking to them and I love helping them make what I call mailbox money.
I love it. And of course, as you now know, since you've raised millions and millions in private money, there's all kinds of ways to attract private money. What are some of your favorite?
Yeah. So what I did is I just started, I do short little videos because when I go every Wednesday, I go and look at my properties. We're currently working on six. I will just go and I'll do short videos of, what I call Dan Can happy investors, right? And so I have 21 investors currently, and I just do these Dan Can happy investor videos where it shows, the property, what the value add is, what are some obstacles, what are some things that went our way. Each one of these houses have a story. And so I use a lot of short videos. In addition to that, I also do email marketing to, about 110 people that have kind of raised their hand and said, hey, I might be interested. And then outside of that, we generate referrals with our current investors. And so I try to make it an experience that's unique. High net worth, high income individuals, they typically don't have a lot of time. They're usually busy with something, that's either family or work or a hobby. And so they love the fact that when they talk to me, their money's moving. They know they can see the projects in which they're invested in. I actually have gotten some feedback that sometimes I communicate a little bit too much, which kind of sounds a lot like my elementary grade report card, which was, pleasure to have in class, talks too much. It's worked out though. So that's kind of really how I do it, is I initiate with my sphere. I do have a website, Invest with Dan Can, And that is some marketing that I've done in regards to Facebook, Instagram, some Google ad word search. But really, the majority of my money, hey, there it is. Really, the capital that I've raised has been from my sphere and then referrals outside of that sphere.
So when you talk about doing these shorts or the reels or the short videos and you're out in the field at a house and you're talking about that house and you're sharing that story, what kind of call to action, if any, do you have in that reel? Like my call to action is I'll share a story about a house and I'll say, hey, if you want to talk money, DM me. Right.
Hey, I like
So,
that.
so that's
Yeah.
my call to action. What's yours?
Well, do you like making money in your sleep? Call me.
Oh, that's a good question,
Make money in
right?
your sleep with Dan Can. Yeah, in these stories, if you don't mind, can I tell a story about one of the houses that my 17-year-old son sourced for us?
Oh, please do.
Yeah, so I have 3 boys. I love them tremendously, and oftentimes when I'm talking to an investor, they like they have a tough time. If you're not a part of this real estate off market world, they have a really tough time believing that we can find properties at 50, 40, 65% sometimes. Well, I was at work and my youngest son's a pretty good golfer and he's down at our country club and he was hitting balls and a prior employee that used to work there had walked up to hit balls and my son asked him, was like, hey, you're back, where'd you go? He's like, well, I went to college and now I'm back in town. And so my son asked him, well, what are you doing now? And he said, well, I'm a real estate agent, I work with my dad. And so my son said, well, my dad and I, we buy off market properties. If you ever come up with one, let us know. And the man kind of looked, tilted his head a little bit. And he's like, well, I'm actually going to an appointment after this for some people that may want to sell their property. So my son texted me. I contacted the real estate agent. And I was, a day later, I'm in the house. And it's a great house, Jay. It's my favorite zip code, all the great stuff. And this is where the story of the house comes in. And so I was like, okay, we walked to the house. We were upstairs, and I said, hey, this is a really nice house. Like, I don't understand why you want to sell at a 40% discount. Like, I would love to buy it. And he said, well, it's my brother-in-law. And I'm like, okay, family issues, no big deal. He's like, well, no, it's a little bit more than that. And I said, okay, well, I was like, let's go downstairs. So we go downstairs, walking our way around, and I walked into his brother's room because the brother wouldn't move out, apparently. I walked into the brother's room, and he had just very unique person. I'll just say that. And so I said, okay, great. Yeah, like we'll buy this. I get it. So he had to sell the house basically for his brother to move out. And he did, which was great. But what was wonderful is my son, I paid him a commission because he sourced this house for us. So the more people that you help, the more they talk about what you do. And that is what, I really learned from your book was, whatever you talk about happens. So if you tell people you can do double digit returns, if you tell people that you like to buy off market properties, if you ask people, well, what do you like about real estate? You can be very successful in this industry. And if you're thinking about doing this, I'd really encourage you to think about going to one of Jay's events because what I've learned is I've had fantastic mentors, like I said. So my real estate partner, he's been investing since 1998 in off-market flipping properties. I was able to learn from him. I realized that many of you might not have that, but you do in Jay and you do in the program. And so I'd encourage you to get the book, listen to all the podcasts, get to an event. And so in regards to my son, he just hears me talking about it all the time. And so he told other people about it. And we're going to list this house here in probably about a week and a half.
Oh, wow, that's exciting. So what are the numbers looking like? Like the after repaired value, how much you bought it for? What's the
Yeah.
rehab looking like?
Yeah, so we're located in Pacific Northwest, beautiful Spokane, Washington. And so we typically buy, right now, our average is about 55 to 60% of the ARV. And then we put in anywhere from 45 to 65,000. And so at that point, we're going to make anywhere from a 15 to a 25 point spread, depending upon, if there's a bidding war or if we're covering closing costs. And as you know, the market varies, right? Sometimes you have to do those, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you bump up the sales price. The zip codes in which I operate in predominantly, we focus on first-time home buyers, and so we stay within the FHA and VA limits, which really help us with our buyers pool. And then outside of that, our houses are as pretty as a brand new penny. And so our competition in regards to other people that are listing in the area, in our area, a lot of people don't want to put money into their house right before they're going to sell it because they want to keep that capital, that profit. Well, for me, we try to make our houses look so great that they just can plug and play. They just need 3.5% down for an FHA loan, or if there's a VA loan, it's 0% down, and they're move in ready to go. We want the pictures to pop. We want the house to have great appeal, and we've had a great amount of success with finding some off market properties most recently, and so that's kind of our model.
That makes sense. Well, and since you were talking about my live events on Private Money, I guess we should give our viewers and listeners some information about that. So, if you're interested in raising private money and learning how to do it quickly, in addition to the book, I've got an upcoming live event just a few weeks down the road. It's called the Private Money Conference. And you can check it out at www.theprivatemoneyconference.com. Again, that's www.theprivatemoneyconference.com. And yeah, it's in person. It's 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's me teaching all of those 3 days. And so, again, if you're listening to this show, check out theprivatemoneyconference.com. Now, Dan, you know, and I know the most two popular topics to talk about as relates to real estate investing is where do you get the money? So we've been talking about that, private money. And how do you find the deals? Those are the two main
Yes.
topics, right? Well,
Yeah.
you have actually developed some proprietary deal finding systems, and you and your team have really become an expert in off market property acquisition. So pull the curtain back for us a little bit and tell us about how you find these off market properties.
Absolutely. So, what I would like to start with is kind of an example, I guess, if you will. I really like chicken gumbo, and I think it's really good. My wife makes some; it's fantastic. I know we're not from the South, but it's still pretty good in my book. And so, my question is, hey, what makes chicken gumbo so good? All of it.
All the ingredients.
All the ingredients, right? Like all of it. And so if you just have one thing, it's not gonna like if it's just chicken, that's not gonna work. If it's just rice, that's not gonna work. If it's just broth, that's not gonna work. So my answer is how we find these deals, all of it. And here's all of it is first and foremost, one of the reasons why I spend a lot of time and energy on real estate is that it's people on people. Obviously, we've heard about AI, artificial intelligence. And one of the great things about real estate and finding these deals is that, the more people you know, the more you communicate, the more networking you're going to do, man, you're going to find deals. And so if you're thinking about jumping into this industry, and I hope you do, and I'm here to tell you that you can do it, man, get go to meetups, no wholesalers. So to list off what we currently do, and once again, if you go to my website, you can actually download a whole webinar. It's about 40 minutes of me giving even more great detail about how we find these off market deals. But first and foremost, first we go to the steps. That's what we call it. We go to the auction courthouse steps here, and we buy anywhere from 4 to 6 properties a year down there. We do direct mail campaigns to uh, basically houses that need to be restored. As we know, 6 to 10% in any given market at any given time, 6 to 10% of houses or homeowners or landlords are in distress. They need to sell. So we send direct mail to them. We do search engine optimization. We also buy from wholesalers, and then we also buy from realtors. And so through all of that and going to meetups and getting your name out there, one of the things that I found is that when you buy from a wholesaler, and a wholesaler, if you don't know what that is, that's someone whose complete career job is to find a house at 50 to 60%, and they'll sell it to you. Once you buy 1 or 2 properties from them, you're on top of mind awareness, and so they call you. I'm a high referral guy, and so I give out a bunch of concert tickets, concert tickets to Gonzaga basketball games here in town in Spokane. Go Zags! And I hand those out to those people because I want to bless them for blessing me, but I also want them to typically they take a family member, and so I want them to have a unique experience. In addition to that, you just gotta be always listening. It to what the market's saying. When you do all of that kind of marketing, man, you could do some great things. We actually are just now going to start doing some cold calling as well, add that feature. But really, the houses that we pick up most often are from wholesalers and the steps, like I mentioned, direct mail for sure. That's the quick version on how we find these properties at 50 to 60%.
Right. Years and years ago, I did a lot of direct mail. I've done letters, I've done postcards. When you do direct mail now, what's your favorite direct mail technique? Is it a postcard? Is it a letter? Is it an envelope? What's your direct mail look like?
Yeah. So, like I had mentioned, my first sales career was direct mail services. I did that for 3.5 years, and so we just do a simple postcard. It's a what I call peanut butter and jelly. It's basically, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do. This is how we can serve you. We close on time. Give us a call. And so, and then also in addition to that, you know, serving the customer in regards to what is the selling reason, right? Oftentimes they're out of state owners and they're just tired of the property. They don't want to put a furnace in. They don't want to deal with the roof. Oftentimes we get referrals from law firms here in town where it's probate. It's just some simple facts if you're thinking about getting into this industry. Probate is when basically a law firm is the custodian or they're working with the house, and if whoever is in charge of if that house sells, if they're not located in the actual city where the house is, on average, they're 300 miles away. And so if somebody in Seattle inherits this property, they don't want to come over and fix it up. They don't know roofers, they don't know any subcontractors. And so when we talk with them, it's like, hey, listen, you can come over, take all the valuable things that you want out of it. You can leave the rest. We'll clean it up for you. We can close if title's clear, we can close in a week. And so when we provide that service for people, they really enjoy it. One of the things that I'd like to talk about is some of the feedback we get when we take over some of these distressed houses. And this is actually really fulfilling to me is we've been working on a couple of houses where, there were squatters, there were people there that just weren't the best for the community. And, we had to evict them. And so we did that. And as we were cleaning out the property and making the changes, this one house in particular, we had three of the community members come onto the job site and say, hey, thank you so much for cleaning up our neighborhood. We were really not pleased having these people in our neighborhood. They're no longer here. It looks like you're going to flip this house, and we really appreciate that. One of the houses, I call it the cat house. This house had 40 cats in it, and these cats went all over the neighborhood so often and so bad that the neighbors would call the police because there were all these cats. Now here's the ironic thing: we clean it out, all the cats are gone. There were mice in the basement. I mean, what were these cats doing? So when you help the community, it really does make you feel great about what you're doing.
Absolutely, Dan. That's a big part of what we do as well. So, what's the best way for people to reach out to you and connect with you, Dan? And the reason I ask that is we got people that are listening that would love to invest investment capital or retirement funds, looking for a home for that. And I don't know anyone better than you, Dan,
Oh,
for
thank
people
you.
to do business with and get high rates of returns safely and securely by being a investor and private lender with you. So, how can people reach you?
Yeah, of course. The easiest thing to do is to jump on my website, uh, which is, Invest with Dan Can. That will give even more details in regards to what we do. In on that website is my cell phone, and I can give that to you right now, which is 509-847-3677. And every good salesperson says their cell phone number twice. And so that's 509-847-3677. Go to the website. There's a section there where you can download the webinar. I'll email it directly to you, and you can watch step by step how we go about doing this. I really enjoy working with my investors, and we can most recently in the last 45 days, I've been able to set up three self-directed IRAs. And so we work with a great company. We could go that route. If you have what they call dry powder or extra cash lying around, that works as well. But most importantly, I want you to enjoy the experience of working with me because I am having a wonderful time finding these properties, helping my investors get double-digit returns. The Pacific Northwest has had a fantastic track record of holding their values and having those 2 to 4, 6, 7 year-over-year growth in regards to appraised value. So that's how they can get a hold of me. And I would sure love to talk to anyone that would like to make money in their sleep.
Oh, that's wonderful, Dan. So again, that website is www.investwithdancan.com.
There you
Dan,
go.
thank you so much for joining me here on the show. Thank you. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. I really appreciate it. Till next time.
Till next time. And there you have it, another amazing episode of Raising Private Money. And listen, you are only one conversation away from making a huge impact in somebody else's life. How can you do that? Simply share this episode with someone that you know that it could really make an impact and a difference in their life. You're one conversation away from making a huge impact. Share this episode with someone you know that would really get a lot out of it. And with that, I'm looking forward to seeing you right here on the next episode of Raising Private Money with Jay Conner.
Are you feeling inspired by the knowledge you gained in this episode? Then head over to jayconner.com/moneyguide. That's JCONNER.com/moneyguide and download your free guide that shares 7 reasons why private money will skyrocket your real estate investing business right now. Again, that's jayconner.com/moneyguide to get your free guide. We'll see you next time on Raising Private Money with Jay Conner.